Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh, Shemel, Shabbat, Shalom, Kakodah, Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of you elect out there, Shalom to you all. Anyway, I'm going to entitle this video, Even the Scholars Know that Deuteronomy 28:68 has nothing to do with Egypt. When I say Egypt, I mean the geographical land area, the geographical place, the actual land of Egypt, ancient Egypt, whatever you want to call it. They know that it's not talking about that Egypt pursuant to Deuteronomy 28:68. So I was watching this video, and I'm going to say one more thing that not related to this video, but I'll get to that in a minute. So I was watching this video, and you had somebody put a comment down on, I believe it was this page itself. And this is Holy Bible Defenders, which is Karata Zabah, the head of the elder of the Baltimore camp, and GMS. It says Deuteronomy 28 in the transatlantic trade or slave trade versus Christians. A comment most scholars are not prophets. So I didn't even read the whole thing, but I read right about up to here. Matter of fact, let me just go right to the point. Okay, it talks about the destruction of the temple 70 AD. However, I do not believe that Deuteronomy 28 is a reference to the transatlantic slave trade. Now, like I have, as we said before, many times in the past, that the scriptures, you don't read the scriptures like you read a textbook or a novel or the newspaper. It's a spiritual book. To get the answer of one part of the scripture, you have to go to another part of the scripture. You go to sometimes you go to the Old Testament, and the answer is in the New Testament, or vice versa. But the Edomites, the scholars, so-called scholars, which they're really not scholars, they look at everything literal. This is why you can't get it. And Yahweh Bashem Yahushua couldn't write the Bible in plain English. If they said the so-called black, the African Americans, they're called African Americans, they have afros, they hip hop culture is part. If they said all that, the people down south that pick cotton in slavery do you know they would totally ban the book? The book is written in code. It's not for you devils to decipher it. That's why it says in Daniel 12:10. So this is not, the secrets are not going to be given to you. The secrets, the codes, the cheat codes of the Bible or the scriptures are only given to the prophets. Amos chapter 3 verse 7. So vocab Malone, you're not a prophet. You're not even an Israelite. And the average Israelite doesn't understand. Anyway, this, everybody's talking about the whole Israelite thing. I'll use that word, thing. You have Jaguar Wright. She said shout out to the Hebrews. You notice she didn't say shout out to the black Hebrew Israelites. You notice that she didn't say that. She didn't say shout out to the black Hebrew Israelites. She said shout out to the Hebrew Israelites. So that was a spirit that was speaking through her. And how many people watch Jaguar write? Like we said in the past, all these celebrities know about us. The Israelites. All name one they know. It says there are too many things that are not consistent with what we know happened in the transatlantic slave trade. Because you're being logical. You're not being spiritual. You don't have a spiritual eye. Number one, the text says back to Egypt, a physical place. Nope. Scripturally, it doesn't have to be a physical place. Isaiah chapter 19, it mentions Egypt a number of times. And if you have a spiritual eye, you can see it's not talking about the land mass called Egypt, the geographical area called Egypt. You had this one of the brothers from the IUIC do the guy that said that it ain't no damn microchip. Anyway, he did a video and he was dealing with Isaiah chapter 19, and then they're reading about Egypt this, Egypt that, and he says then he pulls out precepts showing you that Israelites lived in Egypt. It had nothing to do with that. Isaiah chapter 19 had nothing to do with Egypt. You got to get your prophetic game up, and even you, Bishop Nathaniel, and you should have corrected him, man. You got all these motherfuckers spread the hell out. You ain't even keeping up with them. That dude clear. That video should have been taken down. I think that video. If I go to it, I can bring it up right now. As a matter of fact, I might just do that. And I did a video on that. Here he go. He reading about Egypt in Isaiah 19. See, Israelites actually lived in Egypt. Give me Isaiah 11:11. Give me Jeremiah such and such and so and so. That ain't talking about Egypt. So when this guy, G. Wayne Martin or whatever, the Lord ain't dealing with the man. He might not even be an Israelite. Or if he's an Israelite, he's not one of the prophets. The Most High is not dealing with him. Hey, you can have a woman that your boys say, yo, I seen your woman with her ex-boyfriend and holding hands. And you can say, nah, that ain't true, brother. That ain't true. You know? Where's the receipt? You give him receipts. I don't want to see that shit. That's, photoshopped. So you can keep telling yourself you're the people. You ain't the people. We're the people. It says, see, I wouldn't even respond to this guy. A physical place. First of all, Egypt is a physical place that they were enslaved before. Number two, it says they would sell themselves. Doesn't say that. When you go to Deuteronomy 28:68 in the Hebrew, the word there for sell is makar, which means to sell. It means to sell. They will be sold or sell in the future tense. Sold meaning present, but that's a prophecy. Prophecy Moses, the Most High gave to Moses. You will be sold. And that's what it says. It doesn't say you will. It does not say you will sell yourself. Now, if you go to the King James, you go to the Hebrew, the word for sell is makar. I believe that's where you get the word. I'm going to look that up. Market. Like you got the marketplace. And what happens in the marketplace? They buy and sell. the agora in Acts 17. So it doesn't, there's no history of them going to let's go to Egypt and let's put, I'm for sale. There's no historic, there's no receipt on us trying to sell ourselves and people saying, nah, I don't want to buy you. I don't want to buy you. You look at the script. You look at the scriptures with a carnal eye. We look at the scripture with a spiritual eye. This is why you can't get it. This is why you can't see that Babylon the Great is the U.S. It says sell themselves. They would sell themselves into slavery, but there would be no one to buy them. Look, if an Edomite roll up to me and say, look, I want to be your slave to her, I'll work that Edomite. I'll get papers on him, have him sign a contract. Sign the contract, big boy, sign the contract. Inside joke. And I have him work. And if they go to try to arrest me for I say, wait a minute, he signed a contract. He said he's going to be my slave. Well, that's unconstitutional. No, it's not. The Constitution says you can put people in slavery. It said, what is it, the 13th Amendment, if not the 14th. Well, you got to read the 13th and the 14th, but I believe it's the 13th. It said neither slavery nor involuntary servitude shall exist in the U.S. or something to that effect. Something like that. Involuntary servitude is what? What's the opposite of involuntary servitude? Voluntary servitude. So if he signs a contract, he can be my slave. So I can sue the United States. I said, now I prove that I can have slaves, that is constitutional. When you get locked up in the system, that's slavery, all right? It said slavery shall not exist except for punishment of crime. So when they put you in the prison system, that's slavery. They make you press license plates or do whatever. Work on the chain gang. So you don't have a spiritual eye. So we don't even got to listen to you. Anyway, even the scholars know that Egypt, pursuant to Deuteronomy, give me a second, Deuteronomy 28:68 is not talking about the actual Egypt. And I'm going to go to it. This is Cambridge Bible for Schools and Colleges. Where is it? So what I did was I put in Hosea, because Deuteronomy 28:68 and the Cambridge led me to Hosea 8:13. So let me see. Okay, where the hell is it? Okay, I believe it's right here. The climax of Israel's iniquity has been reached. Yahweh will now prove in act that he has not forgotten their transgressions. They shall return to Egypt. They shall return to Egypt. Some think that this is a kind of poetical expression for being carried into captivity. So the Cambridge is saying that's not actually talking about Egypt. It just, the word Egypt just represents bondage. It doesn't mean brothers used to say this. Israelites still say this. Egypt is a Greek word meaning bondage. No, it does not. It does not mean Egypt. Just does not mean bondage. But you can say Egypt equates to bondage, being in bondage, because we were in bondage. So here the scholars are saying they shall return to Egypt. Some think, pursuant to Deuteronomy 28:68, some think this is a kind of poetical expression for being carried into captivity, period. Whether it be Assyria, whether it be America. And another thing, you got this Palestinian, you got this genocide going on between Israel and the Palestinian people. That's clearly a genocide, all right? And the whole world sees it. The whole world sees it. And you had, if you go back a couple of months, you had the Palestinians, they had to leave Gaza, the Gaza Strip, and they had to go into Egypt. How'd they go into Egypt? Did any of them hop on a boat? No, they walked down or they drove down to Egypt. If you open up a map for you dummies out there, let me do this. Let me do this here. I'm sorry. Okay. Let me just. All right, this is the Americas. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come over here to. This right here is Gaza, the Gaza Strip, and that's Egypt. Why in the hell would Palestinians get on boats to go? Okay, we're getting on a boat. We're going to Egypt. They're not gonna do it. They're walking now. Say the Palestinians fleeing into Egypt because of the Israeli Hamas war, whatever you want to call it. And you go to pictures and they showing you on trucks and cars and walking, taking trains, and they're going and they're fleeing into Egypt. So why would they say, okay, we Israelites, we're going to take you from here in 70 AD and we're going to put you in ships and then we're going to go? No, dumbasses. The Egypt is talking about here. This is the Egypt. Well, no, it's not talking about spiritual Egypt because it would have said that. It's talking about it because you don't have a spiritual eye. So I would just ignore this guy. Where is he? I would just completely ignore this guy. I might even just get out of here, man. I'll just, cast him out. But and they'll say the Flavius Josephus, the Israelites as a whole did not. There was some during the time of the Maccabees, during the time of the Ptolemaic dynasty and the Seleucid dynasty, when they had the wars, the 6 Assyrian wars they call them. Daniel chapter 8, Daniel chapter 11 has nothing to do with now. Any Israelite that goes into Daniel chapter 11 and says that this is getting ready to happen, this is a future prophecy in America. No, you don't know the scriptures. You lack eye salve. Daniel chapter 11. So I hope you're hearing this, Bishop Nathaniel, because you can't break it down. So I'm gonna give you a little cookie. I'm gonna give you a tidbit. Daniel 11 is talking about a series of 6 wars that already took place before Yahushua was even on the earth. So I gave you a little hint right there, so you can try to decipher it, my man. And while you're doing that, you can continue to try to decipher 2nd Ezra's 11 and 2nd Ezra's 12. So this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay. Anyway, I'm not going to read no more. I think I proved my point. Okay, let me go over here. Bear me for a minute. This is concerning Marsha being King David, that was well known among any of the members of the former One West, which includes the IUIC, IUCPK, GMS, HODC, so forth. I didn't mention all of them, but okay. Okay. Okay, so this is a video. Salt Lake City Israelites, get to know them. I get to know them. Anyway, let me go right to the point.
Want to make a fortune without spending a fortune? Try Bitrix 24 CRM. It's free, it's powerful.
Let me go right to it. I'm sorry. Bear me for a minute.
We always ask
Somewhere around here.
great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Most High of hosts mustereth the hosts of the battle. Just the Most High.
Thanks. Okay, got it. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead. I'm listening.
That's no problem.
I'm trying to catch it.
Right. So that's going into the World War III. So Christ is going to be fighting with him. We know that Christ is coming. She said he's coming back with 10,000s of his angels. So it's possibly that the chariots will be fighting along with him, right? This is, of course, speculation. We know Israel will be fighting along with him. But Isaiah 13 also, if you don't mind me grabbing that.
Sure.
Isaiah 13, together as they saw them willing to come and to overcome him by fighting. So they're going to... this is 2nd Ezra chapter 12, verses 13. Right? Chapter 13, verses 29. You want to read that? You got it? It says, behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth. Talking about the children of Israel. And he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. And one shall undertake to fight against another, going into the same thing, going into that World War III. One shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. So everybody's going to be at war. And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and a sign shall happen, which I shewed thee before. And then shall my son, which is Christ, Yahweh shall we call him, be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending, which we saw in Acts 1:9, he descended to the sky. It says, and when, verse 33, and when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another, and an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together as they saw.
What I'm trying to find is, he says that Mashah comes up, and he says that Mashah is not King David, that was never taught. Mashah never believed he was King David. He used to tell people not to call him King David, which is bullshit. He said he was King David. Okay, I know Mo personally. First of all, none of you guys have said, "Well, I know Mo too." I said, then tell me where he lived in the Bronx, and tell me where he lived in Manhattan. Give me the street, give me the building, give me the floor, where he lived in the Bronx, and where he lived in Manhattan. Tell me that. Name all of his children. Name his grandchildren.
Was them willing to come and to overcome him by fighting. So they're going to come and try to fight against Christ. But he shall stand upon the top of the Mount Zion, and Zion shall come and shall be shewed to all men, being prepared and builded, like as thou sawest the hill graven without hands, talking about Israel. And this my son shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations. So he's gonna their tanks, all them things are not gonna work against them, of course. Which for their wicked life are fallen into.
I was trying to look up the Instagram you mentioned earlier because I'm trying to set up where after you're done, I was going to show it on the screen. Is it just Captain Chalak, Challaq?
Chalaq. Yeah, that's on Instagram.
Well, I wasn't sure. I thought you said you had an Instagram.
Yeah, I do have an Instagram. That's I don't know if you can see that. Can you see?
No, it's not.
It says HODC_SLC.
Okay, thanks. Okay, got it. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead, I'm listening.
That's no problem. Rejoice in his highness also being us. He says, they come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even as the Most High, and the weapons of
As judgment, but is that upon the world, that part, and is that after the missiles have done
the weapons of the other nations that he'll use to destroy this place, or it could go into the chariots also, right? But he says, "How ye, for the day of the Most High is at hand; it shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt." Now I could keep on going all the way down, but that whole thing is going into that World War III.
Okay, and so it's definite that there will be or well, you actually didn't say definite. You said you lean towards there will be thermonuclear destruction upon America, and it's likely that the chariots will be transporting Israelites out. But then,
What you mean likely? It's going to happen, man.
you also said, Israelites will take part in Yahushai's judgment, but is that upon the world, that part, and is that after the missiles have done their business?
Yeah, that would be after America is destroyed, and then they'll have to fight against the other nations, which we seen when he said he's gonna destroy this whole nation out of it.
Sorry, I had the mic off. Let me say this again. Bear with me for a minute. Bottom line is I'm trying to find what he said that is right around here. Or could be further back over here, but it should be right around here. But just bear with me.
And then here I'm gonna show you. Let's get Zechariah that fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand. Every time I read this, I think of I don't know if you ever seen Terminator 2, right? Judgment Day, fighting against everybody. And Judah also shall fight at Jerusalem. So Judah.
I mean, you guys are going to decapitate. You guys are going to decapitate. Sorry.
Most High willing, like we're not saying we actually going to be there. We can't say for sure that we even going to make it, but we're trying our best to make it to the kingdom. And this is something that the Most High said the saints are patiently waiting for.
Would you want to decapitate Glenn?
In that day, right? In that day, the Most High said, "We'll be happy to do these things." Our God, like again, this is not our words. We're reading this out of the Bible. I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, right? And they shall freeze up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think that was. I think. Say what? It froze up.
But it froze up for a second, but I heard myself being repeated.
That was my fault. There's feedback on my end.
Let me try to find this. I'm sorry. I want you to hear this.
No worries. So it says, I'm going to read that part again. According to mine anger and according to my fury, and I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. You know, we believe this Egypt right here is not talking about the but it says up to fight against another and swords in their hand. For you want to read that? You got it. Dove being peace, and the menorah, of course.
Please bear with me. Bear with me.
DC, what's that? Slash Nevada, in other places also. That's not just out here. We got brothers that's in Seattle that contact. There's many times where we out there teaching and people come up like, "Oh, we've been."
Shapa, how did you meet? How did you guys meet? Or if you could say, was it planned or you just planned about House of David, Salt Lake City to make sure?
Be open to that.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Some people may see you on here and be like, why would you go on that?
Through the scriptures that who you are. And if you are an Israelite, you need to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments and repent before it's too late, because destruction is near.
Okay. Destruction is near. Do you believe that means thermonuclear missiles upon America, or what do you believe that means?
Something along those lines. It could be thermal missiles. It could be that. It could be asteroids, whatever. But the America will be destroyed. That I know for sure. World War.
Asteroids? No, it's talking about the missiles, man. It could be asteroids. It could be no. It's talking about the missiles. Behold, I have made the waster to destroy.
War 3 will break out, and I do lean more towards the thermonuclear missiles.
Okay. Do you also hold that there will be chariots, which are what people would think are UFOs, will be part of that?
Yes, we believe that.
Based upon Ezekiel 1?
Ezekiel, how it's going to go down with everything, we can't say for sure.
Will attack other nations during World War III? Okay.
Now, this could be, we know who we call Christ Yahweh Shah will be fighting amongst the children of Israel. And we know.
I'm sorry, I wanted to get the sound bite. I'm sorry.
Israelite has been whitewashed, and that it's like essentially a lost testament, and he'll be in his bride.
They don't like talking. Keep moving. They scared to talk to us.
You feel they're afraid to talk to you?
But a lot of so-called Mexicans out here, a lot of Latinos, representing Israel.
But that's only for Salt Lake City, or is that?
We also have, let's see, on Instagram it is in other places also. That's not just out. We got brothers that's in Seattle that contact us, and in Vegas, and so on and so forth. Israel, well, both of us, we could say both of us got pretty much told to come out here. We had spiritual things happening. Let us know we need to come to Salt Lake.
The Mormons believe that they're Israelites. They believe in the Gospel of Mormon in this picture, because that's what they teach.
Occasions they'll say it's Ephraim, and everybody else they say
Hebrew Israelite camp. But
it's a big guy with dreads.
yeah, he wears the headdress sometimes.
Oh, he's from Navajo.
Ah, okay.
Navajo.
The Salt Lake City
A brother
information with, if they want to subscribe to your channel or anything like that, you can.
AQ Wacha. Or
Are people surprised when they see you guys, or do you think? Okay.
Since I've been out here.
I'm sorry.
But our main goal is to wake our people up so that they could be that light.
So let's say your friend Glenn.
Mm-hmm.
What's the judgment probably coming to Glenn? Okay. Would House of David have members somewhat similar to how GMS does? And let me explain what I mean by that. GMS has some members that people on the outside might say, that guy kind of looks like.
I believe this is it. I just wanted to bear with me. I just wanted you to listen to the actual sound bite, or him actually saying it. That Marshall never believed he was King David, and he used to tell people, stop calling me King David, is a goddamn lie. All right? But I believe this is it. So please forgive me. Because if you don't show, if you don't prove it, show and prove, they'll say that we never said that. Where's the receipts? This video could be taken down. So I got to get it for the record.
That guy kind of looks like an Arab guy. Whereas some of the other camps, they would say, no, can't be doing that. And they would say, no, these are Israelites. It's just speckled bird or confusion of face.
Again,
what about
right.
what about
we don't that confusion of face doctrine? That's not necessarily meaning that, but the speckled bird, yeah, we understand that one. We don't have no members that look like a Caucasian or anything like that. We do have one member that's very, very light skinned. But other than that, again, we'll do our research and see who this person is. You know what I'm saying? We go by the lineage of the father.
D New asks, do they tell Glenn lovingly that he's doomed for destruction?
Glenn comes by every Sabbath, so he feels comfortable.
Okay. And these days, House of David, the main camp is in New York or New Jersey?
In New York. They in New Jersey sometimes also, but in New York mainly. And
I had seen some videos with Barack, Elder Barack, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I had seen some videos of Elder Barack, but the other men with him, I didn't know their names. Some people may know Elder Barack. Who are some of the other people within leadership of the New York camp? I'm not saying you got to make a list. I'm just saying maybe some familiarity might help for people to know who House of David is.
Of the leadership, I don't know if I want to really give that.
Okay, that's fine. No problem. No big deal. House of David, I know, is all over the country, but people may be surprised to see it's in Salt Lake City. I'm not asking for numbers as far as how many members, okay? But do you know about how many camps or chapters there are? Are you okay? Are you able to say that?
Of House of David?
Yeah, like how many different locales?
We got a few brothers spread around in different countries and different states. I would put it like that.
All right. And have you met a lot of the other House of David members? Do you guys regularly get together?
I met most of them, yeah. I do a lot of traveling.
Is it mainly through Mashara Yasharallah?
What, House of David?
I'm saying, is that a lot of the main ways that you guys have met some of the other House of David members?
Nah, I met Israel. Well, both of us got pretty much told to come out here. We had spiritual things happening. Let us know.
Okay. Yeah. Because I know some. I know I'm going to find it after I explain all this. I'm going to be annoyed, and the story we hear from former One Westers is that Arya had asked the people at the school there to pledge allegiance to King David at one point. I don't know if you ever heard that.
I just
I
found
heard
it.
that. I heard that. Yeah.
Saying Arya, and sometimes they'll know the name Bibbins, but and some people do know Mashah, but not everybody does. Could you tell people a little bit your perspective on who Mashah was?
Mashah, from what I hear, and I asked all the elders that was actually there with him, Mashah was a good person. Everybody loved him. There's actually, and I wanted to bring this up too, there's something that people say that he was calling himself King David. That's not true at all.
He knew that he was King David. You know, he acknowledged that he was King David. Anybody that goes back to the mid 80s, early 90s, which includes Barack, Bunyamin, or Ben, y'all call him Ben, Ash, and any of those guys that go back to the 80s and 90s, it was a well-known fact that he was supposed to be King David. And that the school, the House of David, was called the House of David because the head of their school, the House of David, was supposed to be David. So these individuals came in after the fact, because he said he never met Mo. So he came in he had to come in maybe after 2000 and whatever. So if they're telling you, oh, Mashah never referred to himself as King David, they're a bunch of goddamn liars. They're a bunch of liars, man. Just like Gangster Ben, he got on there when we were going back and forth with the HODC back in like 08, 09. They were saying, you guys taught about the year 2000. We're going to be out of here. What happened to that? Nigga, you taught the same thing. You were part of that same group. So, let's listen.
Not true at all. Now, there's some people that started calling him King David, and at first he didn't. He could have stopped it earlier than he did, but eventually he was letting everybody know, stop calling him that.
That's a goddamn lie. He never said that. Look, Mashah never said that. Mashah never. Look, I knew Mashah personally. I've been to his house in the Bronx and his house in Manhattan. I know his wife. I know all of his children. I know his grandchildren. So I know him personally. Not you go to school, oh, there goes Mashah. We used to, me and one of the brothers, we used to take Mashah used to teach on Sunday nights, and we used to take him. We used to drive him home every Sunday night. We used to drive him home every Sunday night for years to his house in the Bronx. If you think you know Mashah, what's his wife's name? What's his daughter's name? Name some of his sons, his grandkids.
You know what I'm saying? So he didn't call himself King David at all. The name House of David did not come from him being big.
Oh, yes, it did. Oh, yes, it did. It was called the House of David because he was David. He knew that he was David. Or he believed he was David. I'm going to say it for this guy. He believed that he was David.
Him being David or anything like that. House of David, they actually had a council. They had a council, and they came across that name in the scriptures and chose that.
So he's that's, you know, he was told by someone else because he wasn't there. He said it when you watch from the beginning. He said he never met Mashah. He came in after Mashah had passed. He came in after the fact. And I believe these two are from New York, or he's from New York. I believe these two are from New York, and they had to go out to Salt Lake to build up the HODC. But I'm going to say it again. That's a goddamn lie. Marshall, the reason why the school was called House of David, because he was David. All right? So anyway, I'm sorry it took, I was trying to find it. I thought it was somewhere around here, but it was in the beginning. He even mentions my name. I believe he mentioned either my name or GMS. He does mention my name to her around about here. And I believe he mentions Bishop Nathaniel, and he mentions some of the old One West guys. But David, Marshall knew that he was King David. He believed he was King David. He said he was King David. When they would say, this is King David, he wouldn't say, don't call me King David, because I'm not. He never said that. I was there. Y'all wasn't. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom, on to the next one. Shalom.